Experience the epic series that the world is watching and raving about. Catch up or relive the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, now on HBO On Demand, and watch back-to-back episodes anytime on your schedule. This year, join the Legion of Followers and enjoy past seasons of Game of Thrones, plus the premiere of Season 4 on April 6th on HBO. Don't miss out. Sign up for HBO and get free access to HBO On Demand.
The DEU reveals dangerous drug trafficking trends. The Prime Minister takes a swipe at his party's critics. The Chamber Chairman talks web shop regulation, plus all roads lead to the Red Cross Fair. We've got those stories and a whole lot more tonight. I'm Monique Toot, and MB12 Weekend starts now. Topping news tonight, following a significant increase in cocaine seizures last year, head of the Drug Enforcement Unit Superintendent Samuel Butler says the police force has ramped up the unit's resources with additional manpower. Just last evening, police on Grand Bahama arrested 2 men ages 35 and 24 after $20,000 worth of suspected drugs was found in luggage at the Lucayan Harbor. Butler says they've noticed some dangerous trends in recent months. According to the U.S. State Department's 2014 International Narcotics Control Strategy Report, cocaine seizures in 2013 eclipsed the total amount of cocaine seized in the previous 3 years. Authorities believe it is a possible indicator that there is a rise in drug trafficking through the country and the Caribbean. Superintendent Butler says additional resources will enable them to aggressively pursue drug traffickers.
We begin to beef up the team at Drug Enforcement mid last year. We had a good team of persons join. Early this year, we took in a few persons, and again, by the promise of the Commissioner of Police, we know that we have a team of young officers. We'll be joining the rank and file of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and we are anticipating to have a little more, not necessarily young officers coming out of training, but drawing from the wider force.
Officials have also reported significant marijuana seizures in recent months. In late March, officers discovered marijuana plants valued at nearly $17 million on a field on East Grand Bahama. And earlier this week, DEU and DEA officers arrested 3 Bahamian men in waters off Andros and intercepted a 30-foot Midnight Express loaded with $1.2 million worth of marijuana.
But we're just saying it in at this period of time on a larger scale or more consistency of persons actually putting together go-fast vessels. Obviously, it is a lucrative business for drug traffickers, appear to be a lucrative business. Often they don't look at the end results of the ability of law enforcement to interdict and put them before the courts.
The DEU chief says authorities have also noticed a dangerous trend. He says an increasing number of Bahamians are forming organized crime groups and venturing into major drug-producing countries.
Foreign nationals were coming into the Bahamas, and they're still coming at some level, but we're seeing a little more Bahamians actually organizing themselves into groups and going out into the international drug producing countries and bringing drugs in.
Though a significant increase in drug seizures may point to a rise in drug trafficking, Butler says it can also be attributed to the commitment and dedication of DEU officers.
And also, it speaks to the level of training and the ability to actually engage training. We would not be successful, and you continue to hear me go back to the word intelligence, the ability to engage the community.
And in other crime news, a man is in serious condition tonight after he was shot in the chest and neck this morning at a nightclub on Crooked Island Street. Police say he's just one of 3 men shot overnight. Another man was also gunned down at a nightclub this morning. That incident happened on Robinson Road around 1 a.m. The victim is in stable condition. About 3 hours later, 2 men shot a man in the leg and arm as he was walking through Wilson Track. His condition is also listed as stable. Director of the National Crime Prevention Office, Superintendent Stephen Dean, says police are committed to clamping down on gun crimes. So far this year, authorities say they have taken 91 firearms off our streets and seized nearly 2,000 rounds of ammunition.
We are doing some good things, and we already send the warning out. We tell others. We got some people on the radar, and in the fullness of time, you will see us bring them in front of the court. Too often we just focusing on the fellow over the hill, the fellow down through McCullough Corner, so to speak, or the fellow in Camp Road. But we looking all around the place now. The police could be anywhere.
Dean, who was speaking at the Rotary Club of West Nassau, says the Firearms and Tracing Investigation Unit has achieved much success since its resources were doubled last year.
It's amazing how they recover firearms without firing one shot. When I looked at the crime brief in the morning time, when I see how it happened, I must tell you, we have some officers out there who are committed to this country, who leave their families home in the nighttime, not knowing if they're going to return. When I hug my children, I just don't know what's going to happen. But we go there in harm's way, in danger, just to fight for our Bahamian people.
In other news, Prime Minister Perry Christie responding to recent criticism, saying Bahamians should not be concerned about the question of succession within the Progressive Liberal Party. Christie insisted the focus should be placed on what the government is doing for the country. He made those comments during a ceremony to mark the inaugural night flight into Bimini.
Tell them, whoever they are, whenever they ask, that you've been to Bimini, that you have seen and beheld what is happening in Bimini. Tell them.
Christie also sent out this challenge.
The question should not be asked. The result should be focused on. They're wondering about how old I am. Tell them how I look. They are concerned about whether I have energy. Tell them, challenge me. They're concerned about whether the young men in my party or young women in my party should tell me go. Tell them in the right time. It's our party.
Earlier this week, Free National Movement Deputy Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands said Christie has outlived his relevance and should willingly step down as leader of the PLP. However, on Wednesday, Golden Gates MP Shane Gibson and Fox Hill MP Fred Mitchell called Sands a twice-rejected political candidate. Chairman of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation Chester Cooper revealing his views on the proposed regulation of web shops. He says the chamber does not support any form of an underground economy. Jasmine Bonamy explains.
Just about everyone is weighing in on the web shop gaming issue, from politicians to preachers to the everyday citizen. Now Cooper is adding his voice to the mix.
We know that this is a very pressing issue that the Bahamas wants to hear about, and we're minded to take a position on the issue.
Cooper says given the Chamber's belief in equal opportunity and the promotion of Bahamian-owned businesses, web shop owners should be given the same rights as casino operators. The
Chamber supports free enterprise. The Chamber supports empowerment of Bahamian business. The Chamber supports Bahamian empowerment, and the Chamber generally supports the notion that if foreign direct investors can participate in a sector, that sector should also be open for participation by Bahamians.
He also pointed out that as it stands, web shops are operating under the regulatory radar, and insisted the underground economy they participate in does nothing to further the Bahamian economy.
They will need to rationalize and discuss with the electorate the issue of the referendum and bridging the gap between the referendum and taking the decision to legalize gaming. But I believe that's what government is about. Government is about making tough decisions.
Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe announced last month that Cabinet would be reviewing a proposal to regulate web shops. It is expected that the government would tax web shops and the winnings of those who play games of chance. Prime Minister Perry Christie said the proposed regulations would be tabled when the government brings the gaming bill to Parliament. Cooper says while there are many opinions on the matter, in the end the decision will be up to the government.
We don't support the idea or the notion of having two economies. We don't support the notion of having underground economies. So we generally support the principle that if business are operating in the economy of the Bahamas, that they are operating in a regulated way.
Cooper admits that chambers across the country each have their own views on web shop gaming, but says they plan to come up with a unified approach. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.